I come to you from the other America, not the America on the fast lane to technological and financial progress that you see on TV, but an America that's stuck in first gear in the subsidized school lunch line every day. No, mine is not the America where graduates toss their hats at commencement, but an America where my mama programmed me to stop myself from kicking a rock on the road in case that would tear my sneakers. I'm a kid. I think I could wrap my head around black and white racism. But racism in my America is not about being black or white alone. Racism is about being brown or gay or Jew or Muslim. It's about wearing a kippah or a hijab. It's about the reality where I will earn 78 cents on the dollar for doing the same work as a man. Racism is about the America where we still worry about hate crimes, and in certain states where such crimes have doubled year over year. And if that's not enough, it's even about being fat or short, and hey, I'm being the girl with short hair. Women are highly accomplished in the United States, yet we have never had a woman president. But geopolitical purposes, India, despite being tagged as a third world country, has had women in almost all positions of ultimate power. There have been presidents, senators, and CEOs. But this is where what we see is not always the complete story. India, despite such milestone accomplishments, ranks 112th in the Global Gender Gap Index. Here's a true story. In my grandfather's village in India, there was a family with a mother, father, sons, and a daughter of 11 years. When the mother passed away, the 11-year-old girl took on the responsibility of taking care of the house and cooking for her father and 2 elder brothers. Always the first one to wake up and the last one to go to bed. She had no education, no stake in her parents' property, and no backup plan. This is not the law. That's prevailing practice. The word racism has been marginalized by limiting it to mostly skin color or creed. Racism to me is the marginalization of anything or anyone based on factors beyond their control. Words are very important and very powerful, but words alone aren't adequate. The background from which they emerge is just as important. The word untouchables brings forth memories of what was a great movie and showcases how a couple of policemen were all powerful. Untouchables, the same word halfway across the world in India, prompts reactions of disgust and images of oppression and squalor, but generational occupation and history relegated a certain class of individuals to no right to life or progress. The entire families are hung at the village center for seeking only to be treated equally. What's the point of being the largest democracy in the world, where a certain class of human beings can't even drink water from the same well as everyone else because of a 5,000-year-old caste system? We haven't yet come out of our basic challenges surrounding racism when we, in our inordinate ability to complicate things, have continued to redefine racism itself. Education and policy changes by the government are absolutely necessary to help bring about change. Change for the girl who has nothing, and hope for the untouchables. But wait, there's more. A simple fact. Coming back to America, 25% of Americans suffer from some type of disability. The government's post office regulations require such individuals to be called handicapped. That is just wrong on so many levels. I reached out to countless senators and representatives in Washington, and guess what? No one, not one, nada, zero. None of them had the time to respond or consider this. Obviously, given the other important bipartisan work we have seen over the course of 2019, are there better laws and policies around most things in the world? Yes. But it's not laws who make our community, It's our culture. It begins with the lowest common denominator, us. For that, let's seek guidance in words that continue to inspire us even today. The words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. His words have guided our nation for over 50 years. And indeed, we have progressed, we have prospered, but we still have ways to go. Because when I look on my side of the tracks, I have to say, there's still something about railway tracks and how prosperity tends to stop on the other side. In January of this year, the overall unemployment rate was 3.5%, the lowest rate since December 1969. So, the unemployment rate was real low in 69. I wasn't born then, but maybe things were really nice back then. And supposedly, they're now, just like the good old days. But let's look deeper. What happened in 69? The moon landing, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, Brady Bunch, the Boeing 747 took flight. All pretty cool stuff, right? What else happened in the 60s? For starters, Martin Luther King was shot in 68. Bad. And the unemployment rate? The unemployment rate just for African Americans was 6.5% in 68. 2 years ago, it was 7.5%, so it's actually worse today. How about education today? 61% of ACT tested black students in 2015 met none of the college readiness benchmarks. 68 was a tough time. A lot of folks ended up in jail. Not really. The share of African Americans in prison almost tripled between 68 and today. So by these metrics, things haven't changed. We are still in the same America of the haves and the have-nots. I called my world my America. Dr. King called it the other America. When Dr. King spoke of the other America and its challenges, he referred to race, education, legislation, unemployment, and the myth of time. Time is something I know. I grew up here and give it time. Time heals everything. Oh, don't worry, in due time things will fall into place. However, what I have learned of time comes from what Dr. King called the myth of time. I saw this kid selling water by the roadside while I was going to school one day. And then I saw him again on my way back from school at the same place. That 7-year-old black kid selling water by the roadside in 100 degrees just outside Wilmington, he don't have time. The 200 people shot in Wilmington 2017 that earned us the name Murder Town, USA, no, we don't have time. It's true today and way back in 2003 also, 97% of suspects in shootings were black males. That tells me that time doesn't change a damn thing. We do. Equal opportunity guaranteed that those who had a head start came first place. Equitable opportunity will ensure that those standing in the back of the line at least got a shot to freedom. Freedom from wanting, freedom from waiting for something to work out. Yes, we have learned from Dr. King. He taught us to dream. But somewhere along the way, we missed his most powerful message that can empower all these dreams. It's always the right time for hope and always the right time for action. To put it in Dr. King's words, Lord, we ain't what we ought to be. We ain't what we want to be. We ain't what we gonna be, but thank God, we ain't what we was.